Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 95 of your Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. Today's episode is one of three I'm recording today. Seeking Peace. This is a message from Team Invisible. And what was coming through really strongly this morning was interesting because after it was coming through and I made some notes, I love when this happens. I got on Facebook and saw the full moon update for human design. The full moon is September 1st, and I'll be writing up a little report for my Practical Human Design for Success Facebook group, which is free. If you want in there, all you have to do is answer the questions that pop up. If you don't answer, I don't have time to go check people out. So if you don't answer the questions, I'll just delete the request. So I'm super picky. I'm kind of mama bearish about my Facebook group. So just know that those questions are not hard to answer. And this has happened to me before. I'm trying to get in a group and I hit a button and the questions disappear. Just send me a DM and we can do it that way, or I can reset it. Okay. So what was coming through today was this thing about seeking peace. I'm trying to impose peace. So there's several layers of this. So I'm just gonna, as usual, just launch into it and we'll see what hopefully comes out as, cohesive. Cohesion is nice. We like cohesion. Okay, so the full moon is in the gate 37 on September 1st. It might change before that. I'm not sure on the detail. But the gate of harmony, and 5 planets are retrograde. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which is a lot of pressure, right? We're feeling a lot of pressure, a lot of waiting and pressure to act, but it's not time to act. It's so frustrating. So the gate of harmony, which is the new quantum human design language that Karen Curry Parker is producing. Let's look and see what the traditional word is real quick for you. Human design, gate 37. Thank you, Google. Gate of harmony. The gate of friendship. It's the community channel. Excuse me. Anyway, you can also look that up for yourself. Gate 37, human design. What stood out to me is not so much the gate number, but the word harmony. And what happens a lot with empaths is controlling behavior. And none of this is negative. Don't take it as negative. It's not a judgment. Untrained people who are highly empathic, and I'll just say also that if you have the gate 19 in if you have multiple appearances of the gate 19 in your human design chart, or it's in one of the top 4 gates on your chart. When you look at the chart, there's a left side which is red, a right side which is black. If you need your chart, go to freehumandesignchart.com. Is that correct? You can get your chart anywhere. Hit the Google, but look for genetic matrix because they're much more precise. And I won't go off on a tangent about Jovian archives, but geneticmatrix.com, freehumandesignchart.com, both of those will get you to that database. On the left side is red, the right side is black. The top 2 numbers on the left, the top 2 numbers on the right form your incarnation cross. If you have the gate 19 in any of those places, you have an extra zapparoni of empathicness. If you have open emotional solar plexus or open heart will ego will center, open G center, there's all kinds of places where empath stuff happens. What I have found over all these years of working with people who are empathic is they often get labeled codependent, which is true and not true, and codependent has a lot of negativity associated with it as well. So let's not worry too much over the nuances of words. Here's the bottom line. When you are uncomfortable with what you're receiving, you will go into controlling behavior to try and save yourself, right? And the work for empaths and people who are very sensitive is to learn to tolerate the distress of receiving others and the world's, just receiving energies that aren't your home base energy. We could just bottom line it that way. You have a home base energy. That home base energy is you when you're clicking along, you've had the right food, you've had enough sleep, you're doing what you do and you're feeling good. That's your home base, right? Then something outside of you happens and that's where we get thrown off. You come into contact with someone who's upset, you feel they're upset. You come into a cross paths with an animal that's in distress, you feel that distress. The planet's distress, the hurricane's distress, you feel it all. If you haven't been trained and put a lot of practice into tolerating that, and the next step of tolerating is embracing that, embracing those different sensations. Energy that's not your home base triggers sensations in your body, which triggers brain chemistry, neurons, things going just banana pants, just crazy chaos. So if you don't know any better, how could you do anything else but other than try to stop it? Try to stop what's happening. Stop it through heroin. Stop it through controlling other people in situations. Trying to. Good luck. You might be able to control people for a while, but you sure won't control them forever. You get tired of it or they get tired of it. Something happens. You can't do that forever. At the heart of that is a need to survive, right? That's why you can't judge yourself for this. I don't judge anybody for it. How could you know better? Our culture long ago dropped training for empaths. We dropped it. We decided, for whatever reason, probably because it didn't work for the people who are trying to force other people to make money for them, but whatever. We dropped recognizing empaths and training them how to handle it. So there's teachers out there, and I'm one of them, who teach embodiment, who teach empaths how to handle this. Right now, my favorite vehicle for doing that training is through human design, through From Wounded to Wise, my 6-month program, because that's really what a lot of it is about. And we use human design as a framework. If you haven't been trained to feel that disturbance in the force, to feel that disruption in your home base energy, you will try to shut it down. If you can't shut it down externally, you will shut it down internally through the things that work, the things that help you check out of your body awareness. And I'm going to have another podcast talking about the difference between presence versus being grounded that came up in the Forest Reiki question and answer session this weekend, and spoke to me. So that'll be coming. I have that marked down as episode 97 on my little scratch paper, which was a napkin that was in my car because I had to pull over and write down 3 podcast titles because they all came in at once. But this message from Team Invisible came this morning, and the message is you cannot seek, impose, or create peace outside of yourself. You cannot seek, impose, or create peace outside of yourself. You cannot. There is a deep desire to have world peace. We can't have it because we can't control the world. We can only create inside of us, which then, if enough of us are doing it and enough people around you are resonant with you, you can see the effects of that around you. But it's coming from you. Creating peace is that oneness that I've talked about a few times lately, and other people are talking about it as well, because it's very important. It's very important right now that you create and find the state of the razor's edge, the holding of the both and, the dialectical in your space. That is the rising of the feminine that you hear about. That's the include all the things in your energy that a lot of teachers are talking about. You have to create it within yourself, and you cannot create peace within yourself if you are rejecting parts of you. It is not possible. You can have the peace that comes from exiting your body and swimming around in cosmic energy all day. That's super peaceful. It feels good. It does. Let's say it's a kind of peace. The kind of peace I'm talking about is whole-bodied peace. What I saw again this morning is empaths trying so hard to control external circumstances to create peace from outside, and you cannot. Not the kind of peace I'm talking about. The kind of peace you might not even be aware exists because you're not fully present in your body. You might not know whole body peace. It might be something new that you need to put on your things I'd like to experience in this lifetime list. Do you have one of those? Maybe it's on the bucket list. Bucket list, experience whole body peace. Okay, you might not know what it feels like. So just drop it into your awareness. What is this thing that she's talking about? Have I experienced it? And if not, what do I need to do to experience it? What needs to happen? The first thing that needs to happen is stop trying to control everything and everyone so that you can feel better. Right? Because we want to feel better. We want to feel safe. And there's very little safety to be had externally at the moment, right? Our mind is challenged on a daily basis to turn away from looking for safety from our government, from our law enforcement, from whatever, from the social justice movements that we care about. There is no safety to be had because that's not where safety comes from. Safety is a feeling you give yourself. Safety is an experience you find within. But you have to be in your body, aware of your body. When people say be in your body, what they mean is to be aware of your body. Okay, that will be episode number 96, which is coming after this one. So the Team Invisible folks are saying, remind people that you can't, the peace is required, the peace is desired, it's necessary, it's a worthy goal, but it has to start within. Tonight, my From Wounded to Wise group we're visiting the heart center, the heart chakra, the heart center, the love, the G center, not the ego will center, which is sometimes called the heart center. But the G center, where all the love is. The heart is where internal peace happens. It's like the crossroads, right? A cross, a Christian cross, the middle part, your body makes a cross. If you extend your arms, the heart is at the crossing of the vertical and the horizontal. Crosses at your arms, the heart. That's where internal peace lies because that's where the union is. The union between the physical body's consciousness, the mind's consciousness, and the eternal soul's consciousness. all the awarenesses of all your energy bodies and all the parts and pieces of you, most of which you're not even aware of, because you don't need to be aware of them, right? Our brain is trained to tune into the things that we need to survive and kind of ignore all the rest. So it's okay, but start visiting your heart when you are wanting so desperately to stop what's happening outside of you, which cannot be stopped because that train has left the station, honey bunnies. It is going, and it's going where it needs to go. These are the natural consequences. This is the way things that get out of balance reset themselves. When nature gets out of balance, when Mother Nature resets herself, it's not pretty. It's sometimes not pretty. Okay, the energy is resetting itself, coming back into balance. And you help that. The best thing that you can do right now is to replicate inside yourself what you so desperately want to see that's outside of you, because you cannot find it out there. You can't impose it. Have you noticed that some people who are like, world peace, I want world peace, and fuck you. Like, oh, it doesn't, what? Fuck you, fuckers. I'm having world peace. And you're like, oh, geez. You can't even see the irony that's happening coming out of your mouth right now. Okay, I'm not above all this at all. You guys, if you follow me on Facebook, you know I'm mouthy. So this is a place I always have to keep coming back to, because I get reminders when I get outside myself. When I step out of my lane, I get reminders. You better go find that peace within yourself, because you can't make them stop attacking you and everything else. You can't make them see what they can't see, just like I can't see what I can't see, right? There's no judgment here, because judgment and pushing against and making right and wrong is how we've gotten out of balance to begin with. The image they keep showing me is the two halves making a whole third energy. Left, right, centered makes a third experience. That has to start in ourselves. That doesn't mean that you don't go march if you feel like that's what you need to do. It doesn't mean that you don't write your stop writing, stop producing. It doesn't mean that you stop that. It means that you flavor that through the peace that you find within. So the energy in your writings will change if you take the time to center in the crossroads at your heart, and then write, and then go to the march, and then join the committee, and then run for city council or county commissioner if you are feeling politically inclined. You cannot create it outside. You cannot impose peace on others. That is the antithesis of the word peace. You're doing that out of fear. I'm going to stay in the love and light, the toxic positivity, folks. That is a survival mechanism. And it's okay if you feel like you want to call it out. That's fine. Do what you're doing after you take the time to center in your heart and ask yourself, what place am I speaking from? Am I speaking from a desire to stop you fucking with my energy? Because if you don't settle down, I can't settle down. That's the way untrained empaths work. If you can't settle down, I can't settle down. It's constantly giving power away. And that's okay. Again, that's okay. The bottom line key here is to increase your awareness of, where am I coming from? What stand have I taken? Where am I speaking from? Where am I expressing from? What's the source of my content? Is it coming from, I need you to turn the volume down because I can't handle your noise? It's messing with me. I feel disrupted. I feel chaotic. I feel exhausted by your shit. So settle down. Or go isolate, right? That's okay if that's where you're at. What I'm telling you is the constant message is there are lands beyond that. There are experiences you can have beyond that are so much more free. So much more empowered. So much more delightful and calm. I hate to use the word eye of the hurricane, given that it is still hurricane season, and Laura just, mowed through a bunch of areas, but it is that eye of the hurricane. The still spot, the peaceful place that is aware of the chaos in the world, but not of the world. Or do I have it backwards? Yes, be in the world, but not of the world. Okay? You're aware of the chaos, and however you choose to do it. My preferred method is to just let it flow on through. Whatever I become aware of, me pushing against it or trying to make it not touch me is exhausting. It is a lot easier to let wind blow through. The reason tornadoes explode windows. When I was a kid, I grew up in Tornado Alley, so we were taught crack windows in the house so that the pressure can go through and you don't blow out the windows when a tornado comes through. Open the window, let it flow through because it's gonna go somewhere. And the easiest thing to do is not slam the window shut and try to hold the pressure back. Impossible. Open the window, let it flow through. It cannot hurt you. A sensation cannot hurt you unless you're telling yourself a story about it and you're scared of it, which is fine because you're not used to it, because it's not your home base. It's like your body's immune system attacking a foreign invader. All this worldwide disruption, I don't know that. That's not familiar. That's scary and terrifying. Let me do my best to shut this out and shut that down because right? Yeah. That's all we can say lately is, oh my God. Whoa! Okay? This is a practice that can take years. It can take months. It goes faster if you do a daily practice. But the peace that you want to happen outside, maybe some of those people, they like the chaos. They're here to do the chaos. Whatever. We don't know. You can't control it. You really can't. And you're trying to control it because you're trying to find peace, but you're looking for it in the wrong direction. Drop into your heart. And what I mean by that is put your attention on your heart. And if that's hard for you to do, the very most basic thing to do is put a hand on your chest, on your sternum, and put a hand on your belly, and just be aware of the feeling, the physical sensation of your hand on your heart and your diaphragm or your lower belly, wherever feels good to you. Just kind of massage that, feel your clothes. You're just taking your attention to those places. That is the most basic starting point. If you commit to that and ask your body to communicate with you, you will kick off a whole process of awakening. Look at where you're trying to shut down the noise. Look at where you're trying to turn down the volume because you feel it will help you, but it won't. At best, it's a temporary checking out. So back to what I was saying earlier, we will turn down the volume artificially with food and drugs and porn and sex and Netflix and whatever, okay? Be aware if you're doing that. If you're doing that to take a break and you know you're not like addicted, that's different than compulsively doing it so because you can't tolerate these sensations in your physical body. Every addict I've ever met was an empath, sensitive, creative soul. Every one of them. Every one of them. And some of them just had a genetic package that responded really well to alcohol or pot or meth or opiates, whatever. Sugar, TV, dopamine, you know? I just have to wonder what would happen if we went back to making empath training. And I think that's happening in some schools. If we went back to training people to handle the experience of emotions, their own emotions, and other people's emotions in the body from a very early age. Now, I think that's happening in some schools because they are doing like emotional literacy training in emotions, right? It's not something that we think about, that I got to train in feeling my emotions. But we do. We do. I also believe all humans are empaths to some degree. It's just some people tune it out better than others. Some people are unconscious to it, and some people are hyper-conscious to it. Hypoconscious, hyper-conscious. Are those words? I'm just making shit up now. Okay, so bottom line, the message is stop looking out there and wishing it would all go away, trying to turn it down so that you can feel safe and calm. That safety and calmness is available to you right now. You will still take the action. Some people worry that, well, if I feel calm and peaceful and la-di-da, then I won't do the work I'm here to do. And that is true if you are doing the peace that it actually comes from, that is actually not peace, it's numbness. It's unconsciousness. It's swimming around in the cosmos and forgetting that you have a body. Okay, that's not peace. Alive, embodied peace. You still feel the pain of the world, but you let it flow on through. You don't fight it because you're not scared of it, because you've trained and you've taught your body that, oh, when this is happening, that is the energy signature of fill in the blank, and I'm fine, and I've learned how to feel this and be okay. I don't let this knock me off my feet. This is like energetic Tai Chi. Or Aikido. I don't know Aikido. I've never trained in it. But it sounds, from the things I've read, like this would be the same, another way of training in that ability to feel and stay centered, to feel your body, to be aware of your body, to understand that if you're reaching outside yourself and trying to turn the volume down on something, that's only because you can't at this moment handle the feeling of it. It's causing you distress. Google distress tolerance skills. That comes from dialectical behavioral therapy. It's an invaluable list of things that you can do to learn to tolerate distress. And again, when you can tolerate it, the next stage after that, which is delightful, is embracing it. Embracing it. To be able to do these things, you've got to take good care of yourself. You have to sleep. You have to drink enough water. You have to turn down the caffeine and the sugar levels. The longer people go without sugar, the more spiritually aware they become. That's why fasting opens up channels. Oh my gosh, can you hear this cat yelling? Good Lord Almighty. I'm almost done, so let me go in this other room. because he is just hollering and hollering. What's up, buddy? I wish, there probably is already one. I wish that I could open like an X-Men school for empaths. I have a beautiful old mansion. I'm sure there's probably one out there already, but isn't that cool? Like, wouldn't you love to have gone to empath camp? Is anybody running an empath camp for adolescents? They should be. Man, that'd be cool. Okay, so their message is that image of the both and, again, the image of the both and the message to those of you who are already aware that you're empaths is to seek the peace within. This is not a new message, but it's very, very important. This full moon is in the gate of harmony. Harmony comes when you harmonize with the parts of yourself. You will never find peace and talk shit to yourself in the mirror. That's headspace peace. Like, oh, I'm so peaceful. I just meditated, la la la. And then you go look in the mirror and you're like, is that a gray hair? Is that a fucking wrinkle? And where'd that hair on my chin come from? And why does my face look the way, that's not peace. That's imaginary peace. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about full-bodied, embodied peace. All right. If you have questions about that, if you want to get going on your human design, a human design foundation session is the starting point. If you want to work with me, thatmichellewolf.com/human design. From Wounded to Wise is a 6-month program that you can enroll in now if you need a really extended payment plan. It doesn't start until January. It's $3,500 for the early bird price, which you could lock in now if you wanted to. But it runs 6 months, so January to June, and I won't be running it again after that. That iteration of that course, me doing that, is coming to an end. So if you've heard me talk about sovereign storytellers, and then it turned into From Wounded to Wise, your last chance to get in on that with me in this way is now, because it's the last time I'll be doing it. Okay, you know where to find me if you have questions. Seek the peace within. Notice when you're being controlling, when you're trying to turn someone's volume down, turn the world's volume down, and ask yourself what you need to find that peace within, to get comfortable with tolerating distress, to get comfortable with embracing distress. The last thing I'll say is, when you embrace it, it's no longer distress. You're not distressed and you're not tolerating. You're embracing your awareness. You're embracing this not higher level of consciousness, this more whole consciousness that includes the body and the mind and the soul and the God or gods, the all that is. It includes it all. So there is no distress. When there's no distress, you don't have to tolerate anything. You're just aware of it all. I promise you that is a state that you can achieve. And then you'll slip out of it. But then you'll slip back into it. And then you'll slip out of it again. Because that's the human experience. In, out, in, out, in, out of awareness. All right? Think less, feel more. Couldn't be more true than it is right now. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you next time.